Welcome to today's webinar. I'm Ben Crow, Ventures Manager at VentureCrowd, and today I'm joined by Steph and Dan, the co-founders of BrainVector, a neurotech company at the forefront of reshaping mental health and personal growth. BrainVector is an award-winning neurotech company transforming lives by harnessing the power of positive memories to reshape mental health and personal growth, utilizing virtual reality positive memory enhancement and the innovative patented applied technology that does more than help people reflect on their happiest moments. It reignites motivation, turning cherished memories into fuel for real-world action. I'm looking forward to finding out all about BrainVector today, so let's get started. Steph and Dan, what problem does BrainVector solve, and how do you solve it?
Thank you, Ben, for inviting us. Yes, it's a big problem. Mental health is a crisis. Mental health can touch 500,000 of the world population. And this is something that probably you have in your family, that everyone has a friend or something relative that one day or has suffered some kind of depression or anxiety or stress. And we all know that in our life, we're struggling for that. So it's a huge problem. But the other problem, Ben, is that mental health solutions, what we call the standard of care, is absolutely not solving that solution. It's not solving the problem. And so that's why we are here. We try to approach totally differently how we can help people struggling with mental health. And that's how BrainVector started. Understanding how, by using the power of our personal memories, how can we induce strong emotions? And we are an emotion company. We produce emotions, and these emotions actually release neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, that are actually lacking in mental health and especially in depression. So that's what we come with a new approach, and also we use AI. It's an amazing tool that is, when it's in good hands, it's absolutely powerful. And we use AI and we create what we call algorithm-based therapy. So instead of treating people with drugs or with surgery, now we come with an algorithm and we treat them and help them with an algorithm. Do you want to add something, Dan?
No, I think that is well said.
Awesome. No, that's great to hear. So I guess a lead on from that is sort of how big is the market opportunity that you're targeting?
Yes, so as Stefan just said, according to Harvard research, half the world population will suffer at a certain point in their life from a mental health issue. So it's a massive market. And as a startup, we can't go into the full market, of course. So we focus on two areas, mental health and mental performance. And in mental health, we will start with a companion tool for psychologists. So if we look at the Australian market, there are 31,000 psychologists. And the American market, as we all know, is a 5 or 10-fold of that even. If we look in the Australian market, the reason we go as a companion tool is that we don't need the full regulatory approvals. So our time to market will be shortened, and we will be under supervision. Plus, we will collect all the medical data that we need in order to be backed by science and data, because that is like the big point of BrainVector. It's all data-driven. We have the technology, we have the tools. Based on data, we can show that it all works.
And if I can add, Ben, the market of mental health represents $4.3 billion US. And as I said, and the solutions are not there yet. So there is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess that sort of leads into another question, which is competitors. Are there any in your space? Like, what is your unique value proposition, and how do you differentiate from any competitors that exist?
There are two very, very important things that differentiate us totally. And I'm just going to start by saying that what we are not. We are not a VR company providing cool stuff. We are an evidence-based company providing data based on science and values that we can, from there, building a solution. And our two main differentiator is personalization. We are providing in the future, hopefully, precision medicine. We can't call that treatment because we don't have the data yet, but we are aiming for, but it's a precision. So every individual will have his own experience. It's called personalization. And the other very important element is emotions. We are the only company actually that really looking at how we can use our emotions to treat or to help people with mental health or mental challenges. And there is no one else.
Awesome. That's great. And so your business model, can you just take us through the business model and how you plan on generating revenue?
Yeah, so the business model is a treatment as a service, which basically works the same as software as a service, so a full SaaS model, where we, for the mental health space, we have a B2B2C model, where we use the psychologist or a medical professional as the point between us and the end consumer. This means an upselling opportunity for the medical professional as well, in the whole market space, basically. At mental performance, there would be like a mental coach or a coach organization in between who would be like the point between us and the customer. So we will not be direct to customer.
And I know you've achieved a lot so far to get to this point. So what are the key milestones that you've achieved so far?
The number one, Ben, is that we show it works. So we had a first round, we raised $500,000 actually to really build our first minimum viable product, and we submit and we test it with different individual more in the mental health space, and it works extremely well. And then also we tested the mental performance, and we just did that a few weeks ago with an Olympic athlete back from Paris. So that's the first thing, first big matter, yes, it works. The second element is that early this year, we submit a patent. So we are well protected, and we continue to protect our data in order to be safe and unique in what we are providing. And the last element is that we made a decent and quite in-depth market validation through different healthcare professionals, especially to psychologists, because that's the first type of segments that we would like to enter into the business.
Great. And I mean, to achieve that so far, you've obviously got a great team around you as on top of you both. So can you both just give me a bit of your backgrounds and also anyone else in your team that you'd like to sort of dive into their experience and how they're sort of supporting on the journey?
Sure. So let me start with myself, and then you can do your introduction. So I'm originally from Amsterdam. I was born with a genetic difference called SMA type 3, which gives me a physical disadvantage. But it also has given me an amazing superpower to think out of the box, to do things in a different way and look at situations in a different way. And that really started my entrepreneurial journey when I was 15, which is 25 years ago now. That kind of hurt to say, but anyway. So I'm educated in tech. So all my startups have been in the tech field, and the last 10 years in the mental health space, where I really believe that technology can be much more powerful if it's applied in the right way, to help people live happier, healthier, and longer lives. And that's why I'm so passionate about like this space, and with like Steph's background as neuroscientist and neurologist, it really all comes together basically.
Yeah, and he's very humble, but he's a AI genius. That's very important. And we have an amazing team as well. I'm a neurologist by background. I study medicine in Belgium, and so I was neighbor to him during a few years. My first job actually was pilot at the Air Force. That was my dream when I was a kid, and helped me to understand that you need to be extremely strong in your head to reach what you want to achieve. After that, I studied medicine, and I was passionate by neuroscience, so I moved to Paris and studying neurology to be a medical doctor practicing neurology, and especially focusing on Parkinson's disease and dementia. And when I moved to Australia 13 years ago, I had the opportunity to work in industry and working as medical director and learning more about how to bring any medication to market and understand that type of the activities. 2 years ago, we decided a bit, less than 2 years actually, to create BrainVector, and that's where we're at. We have an amazing team, right? We have a super creative director that is bringing all his knowledge into telling stories and using all the AI system. That it's absolutely fantastic. Office team that are helping us, like general counsel, CFO, investment directors, and a huge, not huge, but helpful operation team for clinical trials and also all the operations. So we are very lucky to have these people helping us. Yeah.
And I would like to add to that we are backed by John Bacon, who is our cornerstone investor and supporter from day one, and he's quite well known on the platform as well. And yeah, he's been a massive supporter for us, and he really sees, like, he's been in this industry, and he really sees like the potential of what we do and how this can reach all these people in need, and not only in Australia but around the globe, because it's fully cultural agnostic what we offer.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I guess now we sort of lead into, looking at what the future looks like. And I think we'll start with customer acquisition. Like, what's your customer acquisition? Obviously going out to psychologists and different groups. Do you have sort of an idea around what the sort of cost per acquisition looks like, or, the sort of modeling you've done there?
Yeah, so it's early days, as Steph just said. So our initial thing is that we tested with psychologists throughout a survey on the Australian Psychologist Society event earlier this year. We tested pricing points. So what is their perceived value for what we do? They told us $140. Our business models are based on that as well. The way we see customer acquisition is really through like psychology practices here in Australia as like the first point. And what we're going to do in March, we're going to start a trial, a real world evidence trial, in which we're going to crystallize out this whole model. And during that trial, we will work out how is the commercial side going to work. So yeah, it's going to be paid per session. We know that, but how many sessions are we going to have? How often is going to be used? Do patients want to use it outside of the clinic as well? And is there an option for us to provide it in that way? So there's a lot that's coming together in March, and that's basically what we need the funding for as well, that we are raising at the moment.
Yes. If I can add then on the mental performance side of it, where we try to reach top sports institutions, a sports club, corporate world, defense. We also have a very interesting project with a space agency to see how we can improve mental performance in the astronauts. So that will be a different business model. That will be more on the subscription type of model, more than per sessions. But that's at the moment we are exploring and gathering data to really understand exactly how we're gonna put this model alive.
And if we look at our financial predictions, then we see in 5 years around $250 million ARR in 5 years if we just focus on the mental health side with psychologists.
So yeah, there is there's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's massive and very exciting. So I guess based on that as well, I know you sort of just touched on it then as well, but what's the sort of current financial position like, and how do you sort of plan to use the funds that you are raising it for at the moment?
Yeah, so we have a very healthy runway at the moment. The reason we need to get this round of funding is to get to our next inflection point. And our next inflection point is doing a real world evidence trial with 200 patients, followed on 4 sessions, so 800 sessions in total, that will give us all the insights that we need to go to market after. So we estimate that stage will take roughly till Q3 2025, and that is our inflection point when we will do the next raise after this one. Just need to get through that one. Plus, during this phase, we will do more outreach as well into mental performance and do these project-based assignments.
Yeah, and continue the development to have a ready-to-launch product by end of 2025.
So,
A huge, lots of things on our plates, that's for sure.
yeah, absolutely. That's very exciting. And I guess off the back of that, like what do you sort of foresee as being sort of risks or challenges facing the business?
Yeah. And then every startup, of course, if we're not able to identify risk, I think we are in not a good position. So we identified two key risks. One is actually the pace, how AI is developing. AI every day, almost, Dan tell me, oh, Steph, you've seen these new things in AI, and Kieran is coming, oh, there is a new API or things in AI. So AI is evolving extremely rapidly. So we need to have that pace. We can't be a startup that's looking at one solutions and trying to deliver that solutions, and then we'll see in 2 years and keeping the same. We need to go with the evolution of AI. So we need to be extremely flexible. And that's the risk. The risk is, are we able to continue and keep that pace and at the same pace? So in order to reduce that that risk, would say, we have first these guys and other guys in the team that's looking at what's happening. And also we offer a constant new development of our product. It's not like when you develop a drug, it takes 12 years and the drug stays a drug for 12 years. Here, the system will continuously evolve as and following the pace of AI development. The other risk is about generate data, because generate data, it costs extremely expensive. Clinical trial extremely expensive. So we need to be sure that we are providing the right data in order to launch our product. And in order to mitigate and reduce the risk of missing the data or creating the data we need, we're using AI again. We are using company like Trial Keys, that actually company developing new way to design clinical trial in a more precise way. So it's helping us, giving more confidence. For instance, with them, we evaluate that we have more than 70% chance of success by designing the trial, how we design it, which is great. And also, we have a strategy that we not only relate on a medical device, but also on a solution that can be out of regulators, so not especially going to TGA, FDA before launching the product, but we can launch the product in parallel than generating this data, and also the other business link with mental performance where we don't need regulators. So we are going to produce a revenue and generate revenue before the big set of data arriving.
That's great. That's great. And so I guess that sort of takes me on to the last question, which is, you sort of touched on long-term goals and things like that. For investors, do you have a sort of idea in mind for an exit strategy and where you sort of want to get to and what that looks like?
Yes, so I think we need to go back to the core of what BrainVector is. So BrainVector is an emotion AI company, and it's all emotion-driven personalization, unique experiences. And as you can imagine, this can be used in a lot of different industries, from mental health, mental performance, to you name it, we can use it there. But the engine, the technology is the same, and that's our IP. So what we see is a lot of spin-offs moving forward, where other industry partners, let's take a Samsung Health, for example, might be very interested in our gaming part or in our mobile part, where an big insurance company might be very interested in the corporate part. So we see a future of like all these like separate like use cases of our core technology. And that's where we see like the development of the IP going into moving forward. Anything you want to add there?
No, I just saying that's just reinforce what Dan's saying. That it's one technology for multiple purposes, and on a business strategy, these multiple purposes can be multiple and different businesses, and then that's what we're gonna discuss and continue to strategize this year to identify when it's appropriate to create another business according to how this part of the business is evolving, and once again always using the same technology.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much for that. And thank you both for your time. It's been great to dive in to find out more about BrainVector and what's next. And this will be extremely helpful for all the investors out there. So I just want to say, for anyone who is interested to find out more or express interest in the raise, you can find their expression of interest page listed on the VentureCrowd website at venturecrowd.com.au, and just by clicking on the Venture Capital tab at the top of the screen. So thank you again for your time today. It was great to find out more around BrainVector, and excited for this next raise. So thanks again, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Bye.